But the reaction to it, of course, has been the one that has astonished us the most. And these are a couple of examples that kind of, I think, are where we're looking at, because it seemed that the whole Scouse nation went so overboard. And this is the next part of it, because great, we look at him quitting. He's not going to retire. He has more to do. But this reaction, a lot of people sneered at it and laughed at it. Of course, I joined in as well. But there is a bit of nuance as well. But this is like one of them. I think people find this very, very funny. So this is somebody who, while he was taking himself seriously, saying that he's cried all morning, and that, you know, this is like, I love you, Jurgen, we are Liverpool, you never walk alone, and so on and so forth. That was just one of many. The next one, I think, is the funniest of all. I think it's one that actually disturbed me in a way. And I did put myself into the situation, you know, we're chatting about this earlier on. This was a little bit, he went down to his lad's school, he's 8. He had to be there to tell him in person. He sprinted from the car towards a classroom. Now, immediately, when you think of an adult male sprinting towards a school, jumping out of a car, going like that, he's going to be dragged down by security, because I'm sorry, that's just, you know, it's a bit nonsense. Like, yo, we locked eyes. He'd already found out, just pure sadness in his eyes. It just killed me. And I dropped to my knees, sobbing my heart out. He rushed over to me and hugged me with all he had. And he was crying his eyes out too. How do you explain something like this to an 8-year-old? How do you make it better? He's home now. Took him out early. We're both just a mess. Now, in all fairness, you'd probably want to call true. I mean, there has been a huge overreaction. There's been some real lulas online talking about it, but that's overreaction, Andrew, isn't it?
I think we have to be fair for a moment. I mean, we have to put personal allegiances aside. You can't really underestimate quite how impactful a departure like Klopp's is. There's no point. We can laugh at his reactions. We can laugh at his complaining about the length of the grass, or whinging about something that everybody has to deal with. But he really has been. I wouldn't quite. Well, Liverpool fans would say iconic. He has been a almost era-defining manager for them, and for an 8-year-old especially. I think it's a bit unfair to laugh too much at something like that. If I was 8 years old and all I'd known was Klopp, I'd be crying my eyes up too, quite understandably. In fact, if anything, I'd be concerned if you weren't completely gutted. Because how do you follow a manager like that? For Liverpool to follow Klopp, for them, is virtually impossible. When Ferguson retired from Manchester United, I mean, that's a very different matter, because he retired and we knew it was coming along. You know what? Honestly, I don't remember, but probably not because we knew it was coming for so long. It was, well, he first made his announcement almost a decade before he actually retired. He was persuaded to stay on, and it wasn't a particular secret. And I suppose, in a sense, we knew Klopp was going to leave in the not too distant future, but that will be a more painful departure. And I think the reaction online, what's the first thing you do when something massive in your world, not in everybody else's world, that's not relevant. You're the fan of a club, it's in your world. When something like that happens, you might, in hindsight, regret pouring such an emotional, reaction out. But that is what the reaction would be. And I think it's a little unfair of us to laugh too much. I mean, it's funny when you're a Manchester United fan and you watch the pain of another club, but